Hello, my name is Elizabeth Neville, and this is my final performance-based project for EDU 513 Models of Teaching. For my project, I chose Fisher and Frey's Gradual Release of Responsibility model. The lessons covered 2 separate days of instruction on writing a 5-paragraph essay. The lessons focus on middle school level students, allowing them to learn, practice, and display their own written narrative. Using the Gradual Release of Responsibility model, my lessons begin with direct instruction, then gradually moves to guided practice, cooperative learning, and finally independent practice. The goal in doing this is to get the students to a point where they can successfully understand and complete the material on their own. Throughout my project, I use 5 key strategies in order to enhance and further student learning. The first strategy, setting objectives and providing feedback, is used throughout each day when I state the objective to the students and provide feedback when answering their questions and observing their work. The second strategy, reinforcing effort and providing recognition, is used when I encourage and praise students for their effort in class. The third strategy, non-linguistic representations and graphic organizers, is used to provide a model of a 5-paragraph essay, a writing template, and an outline for the students to complete and refer to when writing. The fourth strategy, cooperative learning, is used each day when students are assigned to work in pairs to label the elements of an essay and to peer review each other's paragraphs. The fifth strategy, homework and practice, is used to reinforce the lesson, allow the students to practice the content, and display their understanding. I also included 2 additional learning strategies in my lessons. Identifying similarities and differences is used to compare the plot of a fairy tale to a 5-paragraph essay. And finally, cues and questions are used to prompt students throughout the warm-up activities. The overall objectives for the 2-day lesson are for students to understand the beginning, middle, end formula, for students to be able to identify structures of a 5-paragraph essay, and finally for students to be able to draft and write a personal 5-paragraph essay for a grade. Day 1 of my lesson begins with direct instruction. I introduce students to the beginning, middle, end formula and compare it to a plot of a fairy tale. I ask volunteers to describe the beginning, middle, and end of a popular fairy tale like Cinderella. Through this, students will be able to notice how a story has a beginning, middle, and an end, just like a written essay. Next, I state at the end of the 2-day lesson, students will have the knowledge to put together a 5-paragraph essay, modeling the beginning, middle, and end formula. This is the overall objective of the lesson. Direct instruction is continued as I begin to describe and label the parts of an essay, introducing students to the introduction, thesis statement, topic sentences, transition points, and the conclusion. Students follow along and fill out their organizers at their seats. In this slide, you can see the 5-paragraph essay graphic organizer that is used throughout the lessons. Through guided practice and cooperative learning, students will highlight and label the parts of a 5-paragraph essay. Using the highlighters, the students will be able to notice where each element needs to be placed in the essay. While students work with a partner to complete the activity, I make sure to monitor progress and encourage the students of their performance. The final step in Day 1's lesson is independent practice. Students are each given a packet with 5 paragraphs mixed up. I instruct students to put the paragraphs in the correct order and label the parts. Students work independently and turn in their paragraphs paperclip together when finished. Day 2 of instruction again follows the gradual release of responsibility model. I begin with direct instruction by reviewing the elements of a 5-paragraph essay on the overhead projector and restating the lesson objective. Using cues and questions, I ask students to describe and label the elements. In this slide, you can see the graphic organizers used on Day 2. The first graphic organizer is an outline of a 5-paragraph essay. The second graphic organizer is a rectangle template that is used for students to write their paragraphs on. Through guided practice, we complete the outline as a whole class, choosing summer vacation as the topic for our essay. Next, students work individually to develop written paragraphs on the rectangle template. As the students finish their paragraphs, the students are assigned to work in pairs to review each other's work and provide feedback. They next work together to put their paragraphs in the correct order and paste them on paper to create a model of a written essay to refer back to. The final step in the lesson is for students to individually practice the content. At this point, I assign homework to write a rough draft of a 5-paragraph essay to turn in for a grade. Choosing their own topics, they will draft the essay and accomplish the objective of writing a 5-paragraph essay. My 2-day lesson that implements the gradual release of responsibility model displays how a teacher can introduce a piece of writing, model instruction, provide practice, and finally release the responsibility to the students to develop their own piece of writings. The procedures that I've included in the lessons implement strategies that will prompt students to stay engaged, use hands-on resources, ask questions, and create individual pieces of work. I feel that the gradual release of responsibility model strongly connects with students because it offers a number of steps for the students to go through in order to grasp the content. This final slide displays how I implemented direct instruction, guided practice, cooperative learning, and individual practice to enhance students' comprehension, creativity, and engagement. Thank you for viewing my performance-based project. I hope that you enjoyed it.